Hey guys, and welcome back. To get all of our NBA plays, you can check those out over at stumpthespread.com. In today's video, we're going to be talking about this matchup here between the Chicago Bulls and the Toronto Raptors. To continue to get all of our NBA pick video plays throughout the season, be sure and go ahead and click that subscribe button. So heading into this matchup, Toronto comes in at about 12.5 to 13-point favorites, opening at 11-point favorites. Not surprised to see this number go up a little bit given the turmoil that's going on in Chicago right now. You had that fight between Mirotic and Portis. Mirotic was injured, had to go to the hospital. Portis getting the suspension. Not great things going in Chicago right now. They traded away Jimmy Butler. Just simply not as talented of a group this year, and the Bulls likely to finish well out of the playoff race. Definitely a rebuilding young team. Brought in some interesting prospects over from Minnesota as they try to retool and accelerate that rebuilding process. And then you have Toronto, a team that's had a lot of regular season success in recent years. Haven't necessarily been able to translate that to postseason success. You have guys like DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry who have just been tremendously successful throughout the regular season, but their particular style of play hasn't translated all that well into the postseason. It'll be interesting to see if we get another kind of situation from the Raptors this year where they have, again, another very successful regular season, but then have a tough time translating that success over the postseason, or whether they've changed things enough and focused their strategies a little bit differently to try to have a little bit more success at the end of the year than in the beginning, middle portion of the regular season. So heading into this one, guys, Chicago right now coming into their first regular season game here, off of a preseason where they went 3-3 overall, but in their last preseason game, not looking great on the road, or excuse me, at home against the Toronto Raptors, losing by a final of 104 to 125. You can't really extrapolate all that much out of preseason results, but with a young team like the Bulls, probably going to be playing a bit more of those developing guys in the preseason than a veteran team typically would, like the Raptors, when they already know what they're getting out of their starting lineup, so they don't have to play them for quite as many minutes. And that's why the Bulls decided to go ahead and play the full 6 preseason games in comparison to the Raptors, who played 5 games. A lot of these more veteran teams decided to not do the full slate of preseason action because they have a bit of a better idea of where their team is standing. Raptors coming off back-to-back wins in the preseason in rather convincing blowout fashion against the Pistons and the Bulls. Again, that doesn't mean all that much, but nonetheless, those are the numbers that we have to work with coming into each of these squads' first regular season game here in that matchup between the Raptors and the Bulls not all that long ago, where the Raptors went on to win in Chicago by 21 points. They spread their minutes around as you would have expected, but a guy like Miles coming off the bench, putting up 27 points in just 20 minutes of action is a really positive sign here for a Toronto group that wants to get more production out of their bench this year than what they were getting last year, so they can at least try and get a little bit more rest for some of their starters throughout the regular season campaign. Kyle Lowry is well known for not wanting to come out of games and play as much time as he can. That's had a negative impact on his health and made him, as a result, less effective in postseason play. So Toronto probably going to be trying to limit Lowry's minutes a bit more this year than we have seen in recent seasons, and we're going to see how that plays out. On Chicago's side of things, having that situation with Mirotic and Portis, certainly not a positive effect on this group by any means, and having that kind of angst and hostility in a roster for a team that's likely not going to have a whole lot of success this year is certainly not a positive coming into game 1 of the regular season. So talking about this one here, we're going to be discussing the spread, currently sitting at about 12.5 to 13 points. With all the negatives that are in play right now for Chicago and the fact that Toronto, on their home court, they have great home court advantage, going to be trying to get off on the right foot in a team that's generally found a lot of success in the regular season. We feel pretty confident in siding with the home team, even giving quite a large number of points here as a pretty solid value bet. So that's going to be our play, guys, for today's video, siding with the Toronto Raptors, giving about 12.5 to 13 points to the Chicago Bulls. And again, to get all of our NBA pick content, you can check that out over at stumpthespread.com, linked in the video description, and be sure to click that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Thanks for stopping on in, and we hope to see you guys in future videos. Bye.